All right, so before this episode gets started, I just wanted to explain what's going to go on here. So Diesel Laptops is launching a new training center in Dallas. And I found this guy online. He does great videography. He's got a trucking background. And I think he'd be a good fit for us to do some video work for our new training center that we have there. So I know he's been online and he's been saying he's had some struggles getting new clients and the pandemic and all these things. And he's looks like a really great guy. So I thought instead of calling him to offer him a job or talk about it, I thought, I'll tell you what, why don't we do a podcast episode? Learn a lot about him. I can really ask some questions and I think get some truthful answers. And if he does a great job, I think we're going to offer him a job like right on the spot, this gig that we got going on in Dallas, and hopefully do some future work for him. So let's get on with the episode and let's see what happens. Welcome to the DL. This is the show where we talk about everything in the truck and equipment repair industry. It's my job to help inform and educate you on ways to help your business. We talk with technicians, business owners, associations, industry experts, manufacturers, and even a few you wouldn't think traditionally apply to your business. Welcome everyone to another episode of the DL. I'm your host, Tyler Robertson, the show where we talk about everything to do with commercial truck and off-highway equipment repair. And today we're going to take, a little bit of a left turn. I know I've been doing a lot lately with the episodes, but I think it's a good idea to just expand our horizons a little bit in this whole world of transportation logistics. So with that today, I would like to introduce you to Tex, also known as James Crowley, of the Texas Media Foundry. So sir, welcome to the episode.
Tyler, I appreciate that. I'm happy to be here.
So this is unique. I've never met you in person. We've never really talked besides LinkedIn, where I started following you probably about a year ago. Why don't you tell everyone what Texas Media Foundry is and what do you guys do and where are you?
Well, Texas Media Foundry is out here in Bryan, Texas, which is, as a crow flies, directly between Waco and Houston. So right in the middle of the triangle of Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, we're in a sweet spot. So we're around a lot of major lanes. It's a video production company that will really shoot anything, but we really like trucks. I've got a background in trucking, 20 plus years as a driver, dispatcher, dock hand. I mean, you name it, ground level stuff, I've done it. So I understand it, and playing with cameras the last 10, 15 years has allowed me to kind of marry what I like doing now versus to what I used to do.
So what truck driving? Why did you get into it? And what, you mentioned you do a lot of things. Was it over the road? Was it regional stuff? Like, what did you do in that aspect?
It was all of the above. And I think the fact that I'm a somewhat antisocial guy, I'm usually the quiet one in the corner. Driving a truck is a good fit for that. The trucking side of it, I enjoyed being out there on the road. I've done everything from local P&D, pick up and delivery around Dallas-Fort Worth, to regional runs, line haul, over the road, pretty much you name it, I've done it. Haven't done flatbed though. I've pulled a flatbed a couple times, so I wouldn't call myself a flatbedder, but everything else I've pretty much done.
All right, so you're driving truck, but now you're obviously doing something different, right? With the media and the videography and everything. How did you make that transition? Did you take some classes? Did you just say, hey, that's something that interests me? Did you start shooting while you're driving around? Like, how did that even happen?
Well, I base it basically on YouTube University, watching tutorials on YouTube. That's literally where I learned. And if you think about what's going on with YouTube, people are looking for two things: one, to get entertained, or learn something. How do you do this? How do you do that? So you put in how to, you're going to find what you need. I would say 2005, 2006, somewhere in that neighborhood, started playing with a camera and just enjoyed doing it. And one day I decided I'm going to take the camera from the house. I'm not going to tell my wife. I'm going to take the camera from the house and put it on the dash of the truck, almost like the original dash cam. Because I used to deliver to lumber yards often. Windows is what I'd deliver. And I'd go to some really, really small mom and pop places. It didn't even look like you could actually get in these facilities with, 53-foot trailer, but you could. So I'd take video and then share it with my family back home, because I always tell them about these stories and let me show you. YouTube comes along. All right, maybe I'll put those online as well, let people see. And the following began from there. I was not the first driver on YouTube, but I was part of that first group, that first batch that was putting content online.
Yeah, it's really amazing the power of YouTube. So, it blows people's minds when I tell them, we sell diesel diagnostic tools, right? This is not a super sexy thing that we're selling. I'm not Mr. Beast or one of these Minecraft players that my kids watch all the time on YouTube. Yet our YouTube channel has 7 million views on people watching stuff of like the show, like the ads we do, and the webinars, and the educational stuff on there. It is truly amazing how many people. And when we break that down, it's amazing when you look back at it, like, man, a couple hundred hours of our content get watched every single day. And it's not like they're seeing a 30-second commercial. They're watching 15, 20-minute videos, and my name's in front of them the whole time at Diesel Laptop. So it's a super powerful tool, but you don't see it used in B2B that much, right? So you don't see a lot of trucking companies out there really using that type of platform to try to increase their brand and their presence and everything else. So I know you're trying to bring that to them, but how do you work? You said your bread and butter is trucking. Like, why would a trucking company need to have some video presence or hire someone like you to help them out?
Well, first things first, especially nowadays, everything's really online. And if you can have a moving image that is going to show who you are, what you're about, what you do, why you do it, what's the company culture, why should people come work for you? Because the majority of the stuff is of recruiting nature. If you can show testimonials, lifestyle type things, which a couple of my clients, they love that stuff, and they're able to cut it up, or I'll cut it up for them, long form, short form, whatever fits for wherever they're going to put it online. It's a lot better than picking up the small truck stop application magazine that's the little tiny thing, because you go in the truck stop and they're right there just inside, and you take them inside and somebody goes to the restroom and they read it and they leave it sitting there by the toilet. Yeah, it's not really a good place for your image to be. And most of the time they're going to be on this anyway, not in your application thing. So video really is the future. It has been for some time, and you're able to reach people really the best way possible.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, we have some videos that we push out on ads across Facebook and other social media platforms. And it's just amazing when I look back at it now and you look at the stats, like 1 million views on an ad on Facebook. I know what I pay for that. I know what it costs me to go advertise in traditional media. I'm like, man, I get way more ROI out of the online portion of this thing. Plus, I know how many people looked at it, how long they looked at it for, how many people clicked on it, how many people filled out a form to contact us. And you can't get that out of magazines or traditional resources. So these companies, these trucking companies you're talking to, do they get it? Or is it just kind of the old mentality, like, we've always done it that way, we're going to do the magazines? Is it trying to convince them to do it a different way? Or is it just trying to even get your name in the door and you're fighting with other people and competitors, along the lines of what you do?
Right. They're starting to get it. Some forward-thinking companies, they understand where you got to go to where the eyeballs are, where the people that you're looking to reach, where do they spend the most of their time? And it's on Instagram, Facebook, a little bit of YouTube. And if you can get in front of that audience and interrupt what they're doing on their timeline, on their news feed with an ad, it's not too intrusive, but it's kind of interesting. It's like, what is this? And they check it out. You're already doing better than a lot of the traditional models that are out there. Name recognition is one thing. I can name top 5 trucking companies off the top of my head. But to have more information and more video content out there showing the fleet, showing the people, showing the process and all of those things, it makes a difference.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I was just talking to my marketing manager about this the other day. Like, it seems like in the last year, I've really seen, especially like in the social media platforms like Facebook, the content of the videos has really changed. It used to be like almost a commercial, and now it's more like a story about their product or their services or their company or what it is. And that's what I've enjoyed about some of your videos as well, is you guys kind of just don't be like, hey, this is the company, this is what they do, they haul freight. It's more like, I'm going to go interview a driver and explain the why behind the what they do. And so do you guys, I'm assuming you guys do that with a lot of your clients. And then do you also help them say, okay, we did the video, now let's go help you target the right people? Or do you kind of leave that up to them or refer other people? How does that process work once the content's created?
Yeah, and if you hear a train, I apologize. It's a railroad track directly outside our front door, which is which is a little annoying, but it'll be done in a moment. The marketing side of it, a lot of times they already have marketing people in place. And that's, again, a barrier of entry for us, because most of the time they'll answer, oh, we have an in-house media team. And I get that. If you're JB Hunt, obviously, you've got everything you need right there. But we're a little different. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not good. But the marketing side, for the people that I have done stuff for before, it really depends. I mean, some people say, we got this, we got to figure it out. Give us, this is our menu. These are the things we want to order, and we'll take it from here. Talking about them, they'll take it from here.
Yep.
Now, on some other ones, they'll be like, okay, we've got the videos, what do we do? And we'll guide them. We'll tell them, okay, what do you know about Facebook? What do you know about Instagram? Do you know how these things work? Yeah, you post stuff. Well, what else? I don't know, you post it and see what happens. No, there's a little bit more to it. So we'll guide them on those kinds of things as well.
Yeah. So I was not a big believer in the whole Facebook marketing thing until we got a company here to kind of help guide us through and really target people the right way. And we do all that. I'm like, wow, this is actually a really, really powerful thing. We should be doing this even more. And I think we almost spend as much now on social media as we do on Google trying to attract new customers and new clients. So it's a very, very powerful tool. And I can just imagine that it is hard to kind of convince those people. Like I've seen your posts, right? People have their, they got their iPhone and they think they can just go out there and shoot some video and do a little magic, and all of a sudden they think they got a Spielberg movie, but it's not quite that easy, is it?
It's not, but I will say that, this is the iPhone 11. It's not the Pro or whatnot, but it really takes good, solid video. It does. If you take your time and you watch some tutorials, there's no reason you can't do exactly what I do. Yeah, I use a little bit heavier duty equipment than an iPhone, but the iPhone and the new Androids really can do a good job. Learn the process, learn the best way of lighting and everything else, and you can pull some good stuff off. But the main thing that we sell is time. You're running a business, you don't have time to jack with this, or you don't have time to hire somebody for $35,000 a year to run this stuff, but you can hire these guys out of Texas for 3 days to capture everything and anything that you want, and drip it out the rest of the year for much less than that particular hire. That's what we try to do. We just try to say, we sell time. We give you the opportunity to focus on your business and do what you're really good at. Let us take care of the other half of it. Work as basically a partnership. You get the things that you need and you want, and we're able to go and capture it for you.
So talking about partnership, I know you were kind of doing this thing on your own, and now I've seen some stuff on social media, or you've kind of combined with some other people there. Can you kind of talk a little bit about what happened there, and is there a new direction you guys are going, and what do you have happening there?
So I partnered with a good friend of mine. His name's Sam Smith. He's English. He's a musician, but he's not the one you're thinking of. He's not the big multi-platinum guy. So there is that coincidence there. But he is a realtor here in town. He's been a realtor for 2 or 3 years, but he's also been a good friend of mine, and we've done stuff with video time and again. He helped me out with different things. He's got a drone license. He would shoot real estate drone video, and I would shoot the inside of the house. And whenever I'd go on a trucking related shoot or any other shoot, the commercial industrial type thing, he would provide the drone, and I would take care of interviews and everything else on the ground. So we just kind of worked together for a long time, and everything we've done just kind of merged into what is Texas Media Foundry now. He's basically the backer. He's making sure that everything is running day to day like it needs to be. He's also kind of the facilitator. He's kind of backing away from the facilitator and the sales side of it. We've got a new guy here that does that, so he can concentrate on his real estate side. But he's always there a bit like a business coach and advisor to kind of help me and the rest of the team get to where we need to be. I'm the operator. I go in, I make sure things work and they look like they're supposed to, and deliver and take care of any follow-ups, make sure everybody's happy. So that's how that works. All of this is kind of his creation. I'm just the creative side to make sure that everything keeps running. So we just kind of help each other and lean on each other. He's got certain strengths I don't have, and vice versa.
So talking about all of this, so for the podcast listeners, you're actually in an office setup there, right? And I saw some pictures online. You guys were remodeling and doing some stuff. Can you kind of walk us through what you have going on there and kind of the direction you guys are heading?
Sure. So this space that we're in downtown Bryan, Texas, and 25 years ago, this area wasn't really a place you wanted to hang out, especially after dark, but there's been a lot of revitalization, and there's lots of little niche, like a pizza parlor 2 doors down. There's a wine bar next door. There's a cafe on the other side of that, a little coffee shop, and another pizza place across the street. Lots of nifty little places down here. So we were looking for a new place to office out of, and this lease fell into our lap for a discounted rate. And we're like, let's do it. This was a record store. So it still even has the bell on the door on the other side of the camera there. If somebody opens it here in a minute, you'll hear it. But yeah, we've put this dividing wall back here. This is all new construction up front here. And we've still got to put a new floor in. But the back space is our studio, green screen setup. We're going to build out a sound booth so we can do voiceover narration, things of that nature. And this whole front space will be an art gallery. It'll have half the stuff will be things that we've created. I've got a couple good creative guys back there that like to make their own stuff, not necessarily trucking related. But we'll also have local artists. We'll rotate them in and out over whatever calendar to have stuff on the opposite wall and have somebody up front. And we'll have on these two, either side of the door here, we'll have 50-inch TVs just playing some of our videos in a loop. And then when people walk in, be like, what's that? Here's our card. This is what we do. So there's just been so many people since we started just walking in. What do you guys do here? It makes sense to put something up here that if it can help pay the rent, why not?
Yeah, sounds like a good location. You got foot traffic and everything else, and you're taking an opportunity to do something different. So let's talk about something different because, the hardest part of a business, a new business especially, or trying to branch out on your own, if you have the greatest idea, you can have the greatest product, the greatest service, you got to have clients, right? You don't have clients to pay the bills, you're going to be in trouble. So, COVID actually happened, right? So how has that affected your business and how are things doing kind of before then? And is that kind of why the transition a little bit to some of the things you're doing?
A little bit of the transition from that, yes. COVID, like I would say everybody else on the planet, kind of shifted mindset and how you do things in day-to-day operations. We had signed 2 good-sized clients like right before everything hit the fan, and so we got deposits, we got set, we're ready to go to work, and then everything went south. So what do we do? They say, oh look, that's Alex, by the way. So,
hey Alex.
See you later, Alex. All right. So he's one of our realtors here, and there's the bell for the door. If you'd like me to start over, I can.
No, you're good, man.
Okay. All right. So I'm telling you, we're wild and free around.
Hey, I used to work out of my garage and dining room table. I used to have my kids, come in crying while I'm on the phone with clients. I'd have the UPS guy would ring the doorbell and the dog would be barking while I'm trying to close a deal. And so, hey, I totally appreciate it. And I really remember those days. And some days I wish I could go back to them. So enjoy them while you have them, man. But yeah, I'll let you go on how COVID's affected you guys.
Okay. Yeah. So with COVID, everything just had to shift. The trucking side of things all of a sudden, kind of dried up for us. Now I know everything's getting stronger. I know seeing some stuff from FreightWaves and whatnot that the volumes are up and things are moving forward, and that's great. But we haven't really got the call yet to go back into the trucking space to make some things and create some content. So right now we're really focusing on local stuff. So it has nothing to do with trucking. It's your local contractor, home builder, pest control company, dry cleaners, restaurant. I mean, just right now we're just banging on doors on whoever will bring us, a little bit of food for us to eat, so to speak. Client roster is not exactly where we want it to be, but it's coming back, and we see it every day. Every day it's getting a little bit stronger. There's more activity. There's more curiosity, and we're able to talk to these people and just really give them a good idea on what we do and how we do it.
Yeah, it's not just your business. You're right. It's absolutely everybody else here too. I mean, when COVID hit, we're selling $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 diagnostic tools, And, when your revenue goes down 30, 35%, like in a heartbeat, and you got a, multi-million-dollar payroll you got to hit every year, like things got to pivot real quick. So great to see how quickly you guys pivoted and said, hey, we need to go figure this out real quick and change things. A lot of people don't do that. They just get stuck in their ways and they keep going. And we did the same thing. We said, we're not going to go sell $10,000 tools. Let's go sell some of this easier stuff that people are calling in on every day. And let's go focus on renewals. Let's go take care of our customers and some of these other things that aren't as expensive and kind of get people through this area. So it's really good to see you guys pivot like that. I can imagine in your industry, it's not just trucking companies trying to hire drivers. It's got to be trade shows. I saw you did something where you're at I don't even know what it was. I'm not from Texas. I saw a bunch of, it was like a ranch or it was an auction or something going on that you guys were at recently. You were on your feet for like 16 hours you put in the post yeah.
So one of my clients, and he's also a friend of mine, runs a business called Cattle in Motion, and he does video auctions for cattle. So he's kind of a pioneer in that space. Instead of having to drive out to the ranch 300 miles from the house, he can put the broadcast online and have the videos pre-shot of the cattle. But he also covers actual, Brahman shows, Hereford shows, whatever it is, whatever breed, and just the junior shows. And he was short somebody, so he's like, hey, can you go out and take care of this? Yeah. So the first day was 18 hours on my feet, standing with the camera and running it back and forth, making sure I'm focusing on the kids so the grandmas back home can watch it live stream 18 hours long. But yeah, we'll shoot pretty much anything. If it moves, we shoot it.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. So, going forward now, I know you said you got a sales guy now. You're trying to go expand, trying to go find those trucking companies. How do you guys do that? Do you just go on Google and type in trucking company, or do you have a set list, or how do you market and try to go find those people?
I mean, there's a lot of different ways. We've tried 2 or 3 different approaches. One is, all right, let's just who's in the neighborhood, and there are no major trucking companies directly in our neighborhood. I mean, it's your gravel hauler owns 3 international dump trucks, but he doesn't really have a marketing budget. I get that, and he can find somebody to drive his truck here in a couple of days if he loses one of his guys. So that's not who we're going for. So maybe it's the local recycling company that has a fleet of trucks that covers the county. We'll reach out to those guys. For trucking, there's all kinds of lists online, transport topics. You can see who's doing what and where and how. We'll reach out to those. We'll make calls. Can we speak to whoever, marketing department, this, that, and the other? A lot of times it's been, no, we've got that figured out. Yeah. Sure, I'm certain you do, and that's great. Now we know, we'll mark you off our list and just move on. I mean, it can be a trucking company that has one person and he's got a dream of going to 5, going to 10, going to 20. We can get there on the ground floor with you and help you grow. Maybe you've got 5,000 trucks. Who knows? And you need something a little different. I don't make video the same way other people do. There might be similarities. There's certain things I see that other people may not, and that's kind of the drive, the differentiator, I guess you could say. If they've seen a text video, and they know. I've seen things that are similar to what I had made in the past that I'm not saying I influenced them, but there's something there. I don't know. But it's something that it drives me. I like making trucking related stuff, trucking related content. If you enjoy what you're doing and it's in that particular industry, you're going to have not just more fun, and it's not always fun, but more of a passion, more of a desire to put the best product out there because you're putting your name with something that you enjoy and you want it to be right.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. You want to put a great product in front of people. It's your name, your brand behind it as well. And it's their brand, their name. You want to do it right. So I'll tell you what, I do have a proposition for you here. So okay. You may not know, but we are going to be adding a facility in the Dallas, Texas area. And I happen to be looking for someone to do some video work to kind of document us going to Dallas and building this thing up and doing some video shoots. So I know we're not exactly your target customer, but would that be something you'd be interested in working with us on?
Would 100% be interested in that. Things of that nature, safety, orientation, company legacy. Those are things that we do very much as well. So, yeah, we'd be more than happy to give you a hand with some of that stuff.
Well, hey, awesome. So I know I know we hadn't met before. I just kind of wanted to surprise you at the end. I'm like, if it goes good here and the guy knows what he's talking about, we can kind of treat this as a gig interview and hopefully hire him to come do our Dallas and document it for us, because for us, we're excited to go from, I was in my garage and dining room table 5 years ago. And, now we got a 40,000 square foot building, 150 employees. We want to put centers up across the U.S. And I'm like, you know what? We need to video record all this, because this is a once in a lifetime experience that we're all going to look back on for years to come. So we'd be honored to be able to work with you on a project like that.
Well, that's great. We'll talk about that here for too long, but that's really, really appreciative. I appreciate that very much.
Well, I really appreciate coming on the podcast episode. I'm glad we were able to find a way to work together here. You probably weren't expecting that today, so it's always good to surprise people a little bit. What do we miss? Anything I missed in the conversation here that we should have been talking about?
I don't know. Just keep on keeping on, everybody. Let's get on the backside of this whole COVID thing. We're going to have it for a while. Learn to live with it, and put your best foot forward and do the best you can at what you do.
So if companies are interested to reach out to you and they want to engage with you guys and talk about what you can do for them, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
They can either check out our website, thetexasmediafoundry.com, or give me a call direct. It's 979-599-5543. And that'll go directly to my cell phone or my sales guy. It's a VoIP type thing, and give us a call. We can talk about what you got going on. We can help you out.
All right. So Tex, thank you very much for coming on. And I'm going to just reiterate this with everybody else. Diesel Laptops, the way we grew was through online marketing, and video is a huge, huge, huge part of that. I cannot underestimate enough how big it is. I can tell you this, our company's nowhere near where we're at without those 7 million YouTube videos views, where we're not with on the views on LinkedIn and Facebook and all those things. It is definitely a very important piece of your business. If you're a small business or you're a big business, you need to get on board with it. It really tells a story of who you are of a company and why you're doing the things you do. And those are the important things to get across in any video. So Tex, again, thank you very much for coming on. We'll sign off for this episode. And remember, everybody, it's not just diagnostics, it's diagnostics done right. Thank you for listening and watching.